Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr. This is the On the Stacks podcast.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.
Watching the way that my mom struggled with her mental health and didn't get the help that she necessarily needed, and knowing that there are people out there that are going through that, and if we through this company can help them get to, you know, some of the stuff that they need, that would, I feel like it's our responsibility, you know, because as having the voice to destigmatize, you know, just the words mental health issue, because there are people that say, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with my brain. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my brain. You can't say that about me. And it shouldn't be that way.
You know, you take moments like that and experiences, which kind of goes back to the business that I own as well. You know, people don't really want to have, they don't want to buy a ticket, you know, because they want to hear a song. They don't want to buy a root beer bottle because they just want to drink root beer. You know, they don't want to listen to your show because they just want to hear who the guy is on there for chit chat. People these days, and especially since COVID, are looking for an experience or a moment. It's those things that impact us as individuals, you know, that essentially embody what it is that we do.
Today, I'm chatting with Aaron Bruch and John Phillips, co-founders of Parlor Beverages. Aaron is also the bassist and vocalist for the multi-platinum band Breaking Benjamin, and John is the owner of MCR Productions. This episode is brought to you by Kavanaugh's Grill, one of my favorite places to eat and drink in any PA. They've got one of the best outdoor patios with 13 TVs and over 20 beers on tap. You can also dine inside at this cozy Irish-style pub where your beer never goes empty. Did I mention how delicious their food is? Their in-house smoked brisket, barbecue ribs, and wings are to die for. So grab your friends and have a drink on me at Kavanaugh's. Mention code STACKS for one free draft beer with purchase of any entree when you dine in. Located at 163 North Main Street in Mountaintop, Kavanaugh's is open at 4 p.m. during the week and 12 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday during football season. Dine in today at Mountaintop's only Irish-style pub. This episode is brought to you by Burn, the fitness company behind the Today Show approved Burn board. If I'm being honest, working out can be a real chore, especially as a new dad in desperate need of sleep and cardio. Burn is founded by NEPA native Jimmy T. Martin, and his Burn board offers a low-impact core and cardio experience unlike anything I've done before. They have hundreds of on-demand workouts that are great for beginners, seasoned athletes, and out-of-shape podcast hosts who love supporting small businesses. My wife and I use it pretty frequently throughout the week, and it's honestly a great way to burn a ton of calories without burning a ton of cash. Not to mention, it's a great tool for skiers, runners, wrestlers, and hockey players. Jimmy is offering all On the Stacks listeners 15% off when they use the code STACKS15. Visit theburn.com today to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15 at checkout. Again, that's theburn, THEBRRN.com to get 15% off your purchase with code STACKS15. It's time to get on board today with Burn.
Hey Northeast PA, Paul Perfect Storm here. Do you want your kitchen or bathroom to go from this to this? Well, Perfect Storm can do it.
Need a kitchen or bath remodel and don't know who the experts are? Perfect Storm Renovations. Expert designers and installers who can help you achieve the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Schedule your free in-home design today. Perfect Storm Renovations. High-end quality anyone can afford.
What's up, podcast? It's Bill Corcoran Jr., host of the On the Stacks podcast here in the Blue Door studio, protected by our friends at Ritchie Security Solutions. Aaron Bruch and John Phillips, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having us.
Howdy.
Yeah. Cheers. I think we got to do a little cheers before we...
For sure.
A little cheers to Parlor here, right?
Just don't smash the bottle, that's all.
Yeah, we're not, can't do that, right? Okay. Anyway, that was like an epic fail almost, I feel like.
I'm sure it's fine.
Every day.
There we go. Before we come on, we were talking about, I was saying I've been on voice rest.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I know you're probably very familiar with this. I lost my voice and I'm like back, not 100%, but enough to do the show.
Yeah, when that's when your voice is what you use for a living, then losing your voice is horrifying. Absolutely,
it's bad for business.
Yeah, it's not. It's
right?
not great.
Yeah,
it's not great. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it's like I can tune. You break a string on a guitar, you can change that. It goes out of tune, you can tune that. Your voice goes away, it's just gone, and you're
done.
I'm not going to say the word because we're probably still in the grace period for demonetizing on YouTube here. So,
yeah.
But
well, I think
use your imagination.
But I wonder because I have like a little intro music. I wonder, does that count? All that stuff counts.
It has to,
right? Because it's only like the first 15 seconds,
yeah,
right?
Something like that.
So I think we're like well past it because at this point of the show, like I already had like a little like intro music, me running around a room, so I think we're good. So I think
cool.
So like we're clear.
All right, I gotcha.
We're clear.
That. Good.
Root beer is
Good.
sick.
Root beer is sick. Yeah. So this was Josh Balls' idea right here.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Where's your root beer is sick hat, John?
It's with Josh Balls right now.
Yeah.
Josh Balls has your
It is
hat.
absolutely with Josh Balls right now.
You two share one, right?
That's what we should have done. We should have brought his. So we didn't have like room for all three of us, but we should have brought his. He has a full body mold of himself in his office over at our bit. We should have
just sits in a chair.
We should have just brought Rubber Josh with us.
Yeah, you should have.
Damn it.
Did I see that? When I was just there the other day, and I did peek in there.
There's a whole just world of
interesting,
inside of that office of his.
Yeah, things, stuffs.
Yes, just a lot of self-reflection on himself.
Yeah,
it's both strange
and
unusual.
as they say.
As they say,
right? Yeah. On the Stacks will be back in a flash after a word from our sponsor.
Sexual assault is on the forefront of a lot of people's minds these days. What a lot of people don't know is that there is a civil action where we can sue a corporation, an employee, a church, many different avenues that we're happy to discuss with someone who they believe they've been sexually assaulted and should have a civil case against.
And now we're back on the Stacks. So, I'm really excited to have you guys here and give a little shout out to one of your co-founders, Chris Jones, for hooking us all up. And
thanks, Chris.
Getting us all set up here today,
Chris is always the guy who's like, yeah, we should totally do all this stuff. I'm not doing it, but you guys should totally do all this stuff.
Yeah. You guys, he's setting you up for success.
Love you, Chris. You should be sitting here too.
Yeah. So. We could phone him in.
God.
We feel like, we might have to. He's probably getting nervous. He's gonna be. He's watching this right now.
He's literally watching and listening and like, why are they doing this to me right now?
Yeah. He's
why?
like, that asshole. God damn it.
How nervous do you think? How nervous do you think he is right now?
Greatly.
Yeah.
Like
he
huge.
Might be, he might be
amount.
Slightly uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
And you're definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To an extreme. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And
he's still uncomfortable.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And right now. Yeah.
Yeah, still right now too.
So it's okay. You can relax, buddy.
Yeah.
You can relax.
Love you, Chris.
Yeah.
But no, again, I'm pumped to have you guys here and learn a little bit more about this brand and what you guys are doing. You guys are doing some awesome things, man. Like, wow.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
2 years ago there was
nothing.
There was nothing.
Nope.
And now there's
a lot.
Things and
stuff.
Birch beer.
There is birch beer.
There's birch beer.
It's your idea.
That was me.
That was all you.
I said, let there be birch beer, and there was, and it's good.
Yeah.
Brunch beer.
Brunch beer. Aaron brunch beer.
Yeah, that's another common mispronunciation. My name is Birch. People will just
Birch.
they'll switch. They'll switch the the U and the R.
Yeah. So what all have you gotten?
Oh,
Brunch. Obviously Brunch.
Brunch all the time. Brush all the time. The spell check likes to throw an N in there, so we get a lot of brunch.
Definitely brunch.
A lot of brunch. And there was, I remember, like I used to do a bunch of like solo acoustic gigs in the area, and there's a place in Dalton called McGrath's Bar, and I used to play there on Thursdays. And the one night somebody came into the bar and was like, "What's on the Aaron brunch on Thursdays?" And my dear friend, the bartender Eric Stanley, there was like, Jaeger. It was a different time. I used to drink a lot. I don't anymore, but
Yeah.
I used to.
You were a Jaeger guy.
I was. I wasn't really picky. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really picky at all.
Yeah.
So yeah. It didn't really. Didn't really matter.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
What's Goodfellas?
So we used to play in a band together for years.
The two of you?
Yeah,
Is this how you met?
it is. It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
This is the original. I didn't even have to ask. You're
Inception
already.
stories.
Yeah, here we go.
And there's a
It-
lot of
All right, the episode starts now for real.
Yeah.
right?
yeah. This is where it gets good.
I think Chris might be nervous again right now. By the way,
So
Goodfellas.
we played in a group called UUU together for years. Aaron was a bass player, and we played quite a bit down in the Schuylkill County area, which is quite a lot of fun. And there was a facility down there. It's still there, actually, called Goodfellas.
It's a whole different world.
It is.
Schuylkill County is its own
What's up in Schuylkill
thing.
County?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out, but it's different.
It's like
Okay.
when you go from Scranton to Wilkes-Barre, but then you hit Pittston, and it's like
Goodfellas.
this is where everybody just goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's like you go down 81, and you hit the I-80 split, and that's where Hazleton just goes, nope, we're done.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
Then you get past there, and you hit the Barnesville exit, and everybody from Hazleton's like, nope, we're
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's this section from pretty much that Barnesville exit down to, I would say, Pine Grove is where this country inside of Pennsylvania exists.
Yeah,
That's down
it's
there.
it was its own world.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
we were playing at Goodfellas in Pottsville the one night, packed to the walls, like
Yep.
hundreds of people. And I just remember they brought out this cup of Jägermeister that was in a 16-ounce cup. And of course, the singer looks at him and he's like, "You won't drink that all in one shot."
And I said, you know what? You're right. I won't. And then our drummer Joe, who was maybe the biggest enabler in the history of enablers, who had a microphone for some reason, didn't sing, but he had a microphone just so that
He could enable.
just so he could,
just in case.
yeah, just to like egg people on. So he
I like this
so he
guy.
grabs his microphone and he starts going, chug it, chug it, chug. So now there's an entire room of people that are
Bunch of instigators.
And now this is like early in the show.
Yes, we started at 10. This was 10:10.
Yeah, maybe quarter after. And so it's like, okay, here we go. You asked. I was just remember you asked for this, so I chugged the glass of Jägermeister.
It was done to satisfy the needs of everybody else. He did it for them.
I throw the cup down on the stage. I turn around and I looked at him. I said, "Let's go. We're on the clock. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be standing here for."
Yeah, did it
Let's
for the
go.
people.
It was.
And it was, you would just watch though, because as we would be playing, you could watch with him how time just kind of like morphed itself. So by like 10:45, it was a whole new show.
Yeah, it's like you're
part
not.
two.
Because when you drink it, it's like you're not in trouble yet, but you know that you're on
you
the
know
clock.
it's coming.
It's on the way.
Yeah.
It's on the way. So
And the other thing is, like, you might not even know, like, when it's like when there's that breaking point.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could just be, that's it. You're done.
But I think he was done after that. But like, I know that like one or two of us would still drink. So it was like trying to play catch up. So like while we're drinking to get there, he had already hit the apex. So
Yeah.
it's like he's coming down when we're
And you
on
guys-
our way up,
yeah,
and
you
we
guys are then passing.
and we just kind of finally met at the point of
And then I went and
of
laid. Then I went and
chaos.
laid down in the dressing room between sets. Yeah, it was good.
It was all right.
That was it. Like, you survived.
Figured itself out.
I did. I survived.
Yeah.
I survived.
Wow. Jaeger.
Did
Did you continue drinking
Just
Jaeger
bad-
after that?
Absolutely not. No.
That was it.
No, yeah, that was it.
You were done
That
after
was it.
that.
That was all. That was all.
for that day?
At least I don't.
Yeah,
at least
for that night.
For that
to
day.
my
Yeah.
to my recollection.
Until
I
midnight.
was,
See, I will take this a step further. And he and I used to play acoustically as well. And the one night we went out and we played at the Chicken Coop when it was open the one night.
Oh no.
And
Yeah.
I just remember some kind of drink that just kept coming out with he and I.
Yeah.
And somehow I got home. And I attribute
Somehow.
I
like
don't
that, yeah.
know.
Don't
for
incriminate
the
yourself.
well, I mean, it could have been a taxi, could have been anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But all I do remember though is that the feeling was so bad from what he did that I stopped drinking for 18 months after that day.
He did.
Like it was
traumatizing.
No, it was a feeling of just know that it was over the next morning. Like I was home, but like it was just over.
Yeah,
that was it. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink.
No.
I just remember calling him. I was like, never again, and that was the end of it. Like I felt terrible about myself.
It was not good.
No.
Not
And
good.
here we are.
Now we're drinking.
Now we've moved on to this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This is where kind of part of it stems from, right? You traumatized back in the day, right?
For sure. Well,
Have a soft drink now.
Well, now, and it's like, there wasn't anything, and I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse here, but if there was something that looked like this back then, I wouldn't have had nearly as many problems because I'd just be walking around with one of those and not have people go, why don't you drink it? Plus, it's this area. I don't know if it's still the same here as it used to be, but this area was always like super dependent on like your life is you go to work, you go to the bar, you go to work, you go to the bar, you go to work, you go to the bar. And that was it. And if you're at the bar and you don't have a drink, they're like, oh, what's wrong with you? How come you're not drinking? And it's like, well, I don't drink anymore. What do you mean you don't drink anymore? It's like, well, So like even going back to McGrath's, Jimmy's a friend of mine for years. That's my hometown area. It was probably one of the most fun bars to play, but I also like feel it's one of those bars that if you're a musician and you've played there, whether you're Noah or Slow or Aaron or myself or anybody else, like you can actually, there should have been a clock that's on the bar of exactly how many years Jimmy McGrath has taken off of your life from actually playing there. And how deep down the rabbit hole, like there should have just been a whole thing as far as, pictures of what your liver was and what it is now.
Before and after.
And with a thank you card to Jimmy was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Love that.
Sean, if you're watching this, I know that you Sean is my drummer. He had a rough night at McGrath's once. So it was,
yes, he did.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
He's from Ohio, and he came in and he was like he was talking about how proud he was of how much he could drink.
And he got schooled.
And we were
until he came here.
We were on our way to McGrath's, and I was like, whatever you do, don't say that. Don't say anything even close to that.
Don't challenge anybody.
Yeah, don't throw it out there because Jimmy will hurt you. Like he will.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he came in and he had this new saying that I don't know that it's a new saying, but it was new to me. I had never heard it before. And he said he has a hole in his. It was either a hole in his foot or a hole in his boot. He can drink like he has a hole in his boot. Like I guess that the idea is that it just goes straight through you. You can continue to drink. And Jimmy was like, oh yeah? Yeah. I have pictures of Sean laying outside against the wall that night. It's good.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah. I tried to tell you. I warned you. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So that's where you guys met playing.
So that was where
together.
we met.
Yeah, playing
through UU.
Yeah.
That was where we first met. Yep.
Yeah. How old were you guys?
I think I was 20.
How old am I?
22.
I don't know how old. I don't know how old I was because
You were like 14, maybe. Yeah.
Math is hard. I remember what year it was. I think it was 2002. It was the end of 2002.
Yeah, I was 22.
Beginning of 2003.
You were the guy. You were the guy.
I was the guy. I didn't have the look though. I wasn't the guy with the look.
He got auditioned because the bass player had left the band, and Aaron was extremely talented coming in, like could play like nobody's business, could sing. But before that, there was a guy that came in, and the guitar player of UU, he's just something. And we auditioned this other guy, and he came in black sweatpants, just ripped up shirt, like straight up 1980s crocus mullet on him.
Had a sick mullet. He literally was right before me.
Yeah.
I saw him
Beard.
I saw him walk out before I walked in. He had a pair of like those old school like the Reebok high tops that had like the Velcro that went across the front of them. It's like, oh yeah,
They were white, like
Yeah,
pure white, like
good.
up. And, you know, he was like, he couldn't really play all that great. He couldn't really sing all that great. He just didn't have, to me, visually, it's like, okay. And, you know, the guitar player looks at us. He's like, man, he's like, I think that's the guy. And it's like, sure. No, it's not. Like, at all.
Yeah.
Compared to what?
He's
Like,
got the look. Yeah.
That was
well, what
about
look it was, we didn't really figure it
Yeah.
out, but it was a look.
It was an interesting look.
Yeah.
But but then Aaron came in and we played together for like 4 years in that band, and that's how we, you know, got to know each other, and we played acoustically for a while, and then I pretty much stopped being a musician. I think like right around like I was 32 or so. That's when I finally like called it quits, and I was done.
Why?
I was tired. You know, like we used to play when we were with the band, I don't know, like 5-6 days a week straight for 4 years.
Yep.
Like
We played 300 shows a year. There's 365 days in a year, and we played 300 shows.
It was nuts.
I think the busiest month of my entire life ever was July of, it was 2005. I believe it was July of 2005. And we had 11 days off that month, and we still played 28 shows. We were playing 3 shows on Saturdays.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Triple header.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot.
You know, so, and I was with the band from 19 years old up until, you know, the band essentially broke up when I was like 26. And then we restarted again, but like really from that point of 19 through 26, like it was just continuous nonstop. And then we were playing acoustically on days off also, just to hustle and make extra money at that point.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was brutal.
And when I say we played everywhere, we played
Everywhere.
Like we weren't just like a Northeast band. Like we would play in West Virginia one day, and then what was the worst dartboard tour that we ever had? It was
Blue Knob.
It was Binghamton, New York, to Secrets in Ocean City, Maryland, to Kelly's in Nags Head, North Carolina, and then the day after Kelly's in Nags Head, we had to
Scranton?
drive. No, that was Erie.
Ugh. I forgot about that.
By the way, it takes 16 hours to drive from Nags Head, North Carolina to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yikes.
It was brutal.
I don't ever want to make that drive.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
That is brutal.
We appreciate you.
No, Blue Knob was amazing though.
Oh,
That
okay.
was getting back to Jason. I remember, that was one of those things. Like I said, Joe's kind of an instigator, you know.
I love those guys.
And like I remember,
Depends on the day.
I remember pulling into Blue Knob and Joe just going, yes, because he just knew how miserable Jason was going to be when he got there.
It was in the middle of nowhere, past Altoona, in between like Johnstown and Altoona, at a ski resort that looks something straight out of The Shining. And we pull up to the top of the mountain, and it literally looked like this old shack is where they booked us. He's laughing hysterically. He's like, this is the greatest accomplishment of my legacy
Oh,
in
yeah.
14 years of doing this. They
And it was
paid
also-
us a fortune. And we get out, we're setting up. We set up on one side. There was nobody over there, so they made us move all our equipment over to the
Yeah.
bar area of this
Yeah.
other section. And this guy's like got ripped tie-dye shirt, just everything hanging out. And he's like, shrooms grow wild up here on the mountain. You guys want some? I'm like, no.
Nope.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it was an experience.
It was,
Yeah.
it was a whole thing. That's for sure.
Yeah. Here's
Oh my
Johnny.
God.
Yeah,
And that- and it was-
literally.
Yeah.
It was also like, you know, how like, cicadas are like a cyclical thing. It's like every couple years.
Yeah.
So this was a year that they were horrible. And there's just these giant friggin' bugs everywhere up on this mountain. Oh, it was terrible.
Spooky
terrible.
mountain.
It was,
It was weird.
Yikes.
It was really, really weird.
yeah, to get up to the top of it, there was kind of a road. It was, you know,
Kind of.
Yeah,
it was mostly a road.
Yeah. A little bit of a
And
road.
then there's just people up there.
Dude.
It was weird. It was
Mountain people.
It was yeah.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
Mountain people.
We've
mountain
obviously never forgot it.
Yeah. A lot of people doing shrooms on the mountain. I
Yeah.
Oh
guess.
my God.
We played divorce parties.
Yeah.
You remember
we
that
did
one?
play a divorce party. That was good.
This
Nice.
guy just
That was
had
good,
tons of money and just decided to spend it. He actually took out a permit with the city, like took out the whole block, like
This is legit.
book band. Oh, it was nuts. Like those were the days.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So yeah, and that every decision we've ever made has brought us right to here, right now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Tell me what other bad decisions.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You don't
So,
have a long enough podcast.
Yeah. Let's get to bad decisions. We're good at them.
Yeah,
We're
bad,
good at them.
bad decisions part 2.
We succeeded.
Yeah.
We absolutely succeeded at all of them.
Yeah, for sure. So, John, I mean, your career kind of, like you said, once you stopped playing music, I mean, you stayed in the music industry, and you're still very much part of the music industry. So, kind of like, take me a little bit through, what did you do after that? I said, okay, I'm done playing. I'm exhausted, right? Did you, but you probably still said like, hey, I want to stay in this music industry at least to some degree, right?
I mean, I was playing here and there, but nothing major, and then fate struck. One day, it just decided to drop in both of our laps. It dropped in his lap more secretly beforehand, but he called me up. Aaron called me up one day. He's like, "Hey, where do I rent a barricade?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
This is bad decision.
Yeah.
Bad decisions part 3, maybe.
So he told me that Breaking Benjamin was reforming after 6 years, and the first thing that they wanted to do was play a show. They had been rehearsing, they'd been doing all this stuff. But the thought process originally was, we're just going to announce it that we're playing, and we're going to see who shows up, and it's the first people that get in. I'm like, you can't do that, because knowing the band had how much had been off for, you'll have a riot outside. So what wound up happening is I wound up assisting Aaron and helping to develop the show. I got, I had a ticket link at the time, my own insurances, everything through ASCAP and BMI and everything. So I just said, I'm like, I'll promote the show for you. Like, I'll get you the infrastructure, I'll take care of it. We'll figure it out together. And that's basically what happened. And the show announced. And then the problem is that the room was recoded, and I wasn't aware of this. So we had oversold the shows. So I wound up having to meet with the town council, the mayor, the fire chief, the police chief, and we basically found out that like we had oversold it by 50 people per night. So I'm like, all right, so what do we need to do? So like there's hours of debating with Luzerne, and they basically said to us, they're like, well, we need to get somebody out here and you guys are going to have to pay for it. I'm like, well, what's it going to cost to get this done? Like, so we can move on. They're like, $100. And I'm like, you kept me here for 4 hours for $100?
For $100.
For $100.
Like, are you
$100,
serious
yeah.
right now? I'm like, per night? I'm like, where do I sign? I'm like, I'll just cut you a check right now. Like, let's just
give
go.
me the fine. Let's go.
Like, I'll take it, and they're like, oh, well, we'll have problems with parking in the downtown, and there's going to be tickets. I'm like, isn't that how you make money? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
like,
just
if you,
write the parking tickets.
Yeah.
like, have at it. So, basically, after the show happened, it was great success, and
That was good. Do that again.
great success.
Nice.
It's nice. And then, Ben was kind enough to ask me if I would tour manage the band. So then I wound up tour managing the band for a couple of years. And then, basically they wound up having another tour manager at another point too. Bands continue to grow. I actually had taken a year off from the music industry too. Like my son was born at that time. And then I decided, I'm like, I'm going to go back out and tour manage. So I started working with other groups and artists, and it's funny because I have to really say that if it wasn't for Aaron and it wasn't for Ben, I wouldn't be in the positions that I'm at today working in the music industry. So I give a lot of homage and credit to that because they essentially launched my career as a tour manager and a director for bands or production manager or like helping to manage them too. So I'm very grateful for that. It took me into a career where I've now been working with, Body Count, with Ice-T, Public Enemy, Wu-Tang and Nas. I work with Falling in Reverse right now. I work with Filter, Tash Sultana, Snoop.
I was going to say you left out Snoop.
Yeah, so it's like I've worked and been blessed with the fact of working with a lot of celebrities and people that are
Snoop the GOAT.
Yeah.
You guys don't know about this, because you probably don't watch enough of my show, but and because it's still fairly new, but you just earned yourself the GOAT chain.
Oh,
You yourself. You get to wear this.
Oh,
I'll wear it.
Yeah. You
down.
get to rock it. You want me to come put it on you?
Yeah. I feel honored.
Yeah, here we go.
Make it happen.
Yeah, for all your dope success.
I feel like a Middle Eastern with the gold.
You made it. You know what? You totally, and I mean, through that whole conversation, you managed to completely just glaze over MCR 100%. Like
I haven't got there yet.
Well, you went from you to Hole in Time to Breaking Benjamin, because none of that exists without MCR being there.
Well,
and
look at this goat chain. Hold on, wait.
Looking good. Yeah, bring it
the
out.
Goat.
Bring it out.
Here,
Yeah,
you gotta show it.
Bring it out.
Can't see it in your camera. Show it to the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at this thing.
Look at that. That's good.
Look at
It's the goat.
That's good. Can we get some digital zoom and post right here, homie?
seriously. Eric, zoom in on that. Yeah. But we'll freeze that frame, right?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's been cool. Like, I've gotten I just recently had a call to go work with like Sum 41 in Asia. I had to turn it down. I just got asked to tour manage A Day to Remember in February, but I turned that down too because I was booked already. But we're all connected. So his tour manager Jerome, I actually wound up getting him the gig. Because quite honestly, like Jerome's he's a phenomenal tour manager. He's got a great demeanor. He's got a lot of respect in the industry too, and like. One thing that Jerome understands also is that like every artist is different for their needs and demeanors and isms, and it's been a real rewarding experience culturally. One thing that I've been really fortunate with the fact of is working in multiple genres, whether it's rock or metal or pop or even hip hop. You learn about different language and different the way that people put their values in certain things or the stories of upbringing. I mean, hip hop and rock in a lot of ways are very similar. There's a lot of struggle that goes on to get to that echelon. You take like people like Ice-T or even Snoop for that matter. You're talking A-list artists or, celebrities for that fact that grew up with massive adversity with every aspect stacked against them. No pun intended.
Yeah, I like that. Nice job there.
Thank you. I'm here on Try the Veal, 4:00.
Hashtag ad.
And then they wind up doing something great. Not only just great for the fact of their careers, but great for the fact of what they're doing for their community and their environment around it. Like Snoop has redone Inglewood. I've seen him fly home on a private jet just to go back and coach kids for football at a high school. Like, that's really cool stuff. I've seen Ben literally, this was a download festival the one time we were over there, and there was a young girl.
I know the story he's going to tell, and it makes me smile just thinking about it.
It was
Eric, zoom in on Aaron's smile when he tells the story.
It was this girl that had a medical condition that was in a wheelchair at that time. The band had never been to Europe before, and he wound up meeting them at like, it might have been backstage or meeting. I can't remember which one it was exactly, but he basically is like, get their information right now. And they always ask like, oh my, we always wanted to go to America to see you. And, we never really could. And we always wanted to like, maybe go down to Orlando and like go to Disney while you're down there. He's like, I got it. So I wound up working with Ben to coordinate getting that family across seas. And he paid for their entire trip to Disney, tickets for them to come to the shows and stuff like that. Like, you take moments like that and experiences, which kind of goes back to the business that I own as well. People don't really want to have, they don't want to buy a ticket, because they want to hear a song. They don't want to buy a root beer bottle because they just want to drink root beer. They don't want to listen to your show because they just want to hear who the guy is on there for chit chat. People these days, and especially since COVID, are looking for an experience or a moment. It's those things that impact us as individuals, that essentially embody what it is that we do. I'm sure that like you've had this podcast because something struck with you one day, or you watched somebody, doing this, or they had some kind of moment to you that made an everlasting effect that inspired you, and the same thing goes with Aaron in his music career. He had those people that he looked up to in those genres, whether it was Eddie Vedder or Les Claypool or Jerry Cantrell, and now the individual who had all the adversity and everything stacked against him at times is now on that stage with their mentor. I don't know anything more rewarding, than having, it's not for me, witnessing my friend having that moment, and that to me is, I think, the ultimate reward about being in this business, is that you're around a group of individuals that have great influence in what they do, but can change people, essentially.
Aw, he's so sweet.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, look at this.
Thanks, buddy.
underneath all the crazy,
I think you guys need to hug or
He's
something.
got
You
that.
guys need to, like,
He's
hug.
got the goat chain on. He's being a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
Lord.
he's stealing the show.
I'm getting misty over here. Good Lord.
Jeez, give it time. I'll get you balling. So, but that also goes back to this. So
Yeah.
as far as the root beer is concerned, so take COVID. COVID changes everything. COVID basically exploded podcasts also, and video, and so when this happened, but my ends of the business were decimated. Between the event industry getting crippled, the music industry getting crippled, and musicians, obviously, like, that, what are they supposed to do at this point? So they're doing streaming, they're trying anything that they can, support their families and everything. And, I was fortunate enough that, like, my businesses, were tied in very well with the areas. I had great help from the Chamber of Commerce here in Wyoming Valley, who came running to my aid, along with the Scranton Chamber, because they knew how bad we were going to be impacted by this. So they wound up rushing in. We got some loans from the state. They kept us afloat. We wound up working it out. Like, we wound up getting our PPPs too. I actually forgave my entire salary from my company that year and didn't take a dime for it, just so my employees can get paid. So, I mean, I had reserves regardless, but it was, they mattered more to me, because I knew that if I lost some of them, I would be in a worse position. So like, even Brian, who's like my number one at MCR, I think throughout the entire pandemic, he was off for 10 days, but everything was fine. So during the summer, my kids and I are in the house, nobody's had haircuts in a couple of months,
Yeah.
We're
Except the underground ones, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know what that's like.
nope.
It's fine.
Sorry.
It's called a big razor.
It's not a Bic razor. I use a Gillette heated razor. Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad, yeah.
Now cut to the
Please sponsor me.
I was going to say, please cut to the sponsorship commercial right now.
Yeah, right now.
And my kids,
We got to sell that sponsorship before this comes out. We got,
Yeah,
it's got like 2
absolutely.
weeks, guys. So
Absolutely.
please.
double your value.
Yeah.
With who he is.
Right, I know.
You could at least get triple.
Yeah.
God.
More than that.
I believe in you. So my kids wanted a root beer during the summer, and so we wound up grabbing one. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, let's get a bunch of them. So we were down at Virginia at my father's house, and I ordered $500 of root beer from all across the country, everywhere, just because I was like psycho. And just, what else were you going to do at that point? There was nothing you could do. So I started sampling and tasting root beers from all over the country, and then, like an idiot that I am,
And making Facebook reviews.
yeah. So then I started doing root beer reviews on Facebook, because that was cool.
It's like you were like just
I was
tasting.
I
and,
was
like,
entertained.
And you
I
were
was
just like, okay,
entertained.
hey, I'm tasting XYZ brands. Like you were just doing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much.
I was
but,
doing.
like,
I was doing bubblegum reviews. So I mean, at
It
the same
was-
time, while you were doing that, so
That's
I mean,
awesome.
So
It works.
Weird,
Yeah.
weird times.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
works.
chewing big league chew. Yeah,
Love Big League Chew.
I ended up having the founder on the show, just all because
Really?
yeah,
That's really
literally
cool.
during COVID.
That's really cool.
I'm sorry, I hijacked your story.
No,
that's
worries.
totally
No
cool.
worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally hijacked your story, but it made me think, because you were doing root beer reviews, and I just like started chewing Big League Chew and voting on the flavors. Like, this was like just for shits and giggles. It wasn't even like I had the podcast that just started right around then.
Right, yeah.
But some people will remember this. I just was like, I would just get a bunch of the different, everybody knows a Big League Chew.
So what
is.
was the
Of course.
best?
I was trying all the different flavors. And by the way, grape is the goat,
Yeah.
All right.
right? I hope
That's
you guys
the
agree.
one.
You don't look like you're agreeing.
Grape is
Right.
the one.
By far.
Grape is the one.
By far. But anyway, yeah, so I got their attention because I was being goofy. There was no like nothing. I was just like, I'm just started filming myself chewing the gum, and like then I would have people vote like on my Instagram story. like what, between two flavors. It was like a battle. It was like an NCAA battle, or it was like,
That's great.
Of course it came down to grape and grape 1, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I kept nagging them so many times. All the tags are like, hey, this is like our 50th anniversary this year. They're like, do you want to have the founder of Big League Chew on your show? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
It turns out, yes.
Did he bring you a
Yes, I
supply?
do.
Yeah, they sent me. I still have grape at home. Like I have endless grape. I have endless. I should have. It should be here. I have endless grape packets.
As you should.
Yeah,
That's great.
So all right, back to your story. I hijacked it.
That's a good story.
Yeah. So
That's impressive.
Yeah. So you're doing.
So I'm doing root beer
reviews.
And then this epiphany just happens. I was like, I want to make a root beer. So I went down to SBC and I met with Fred, who's down there, and I was like, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. I need to know if you guys can do it. And, Fred was very kind to explain everything to me. He thought I was insane. And he's like...
He's still not wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not.
You're still insane.
He's just like, I don't know if this is going to really work. He's like, a lot of people will try to do this. And, I've been left with pallets of product and things of that nature. And I was like, it's going to work. So I knew that when you're going to do something insane and you've lost over $1 million due to COVID and you're about to spend more of your money that you don't have.
Yeah, double down.
I was like, now the rule is invite your friends to come do it with you.
Yeah.
So
this is where everybody else comes in the picture, huh?
Yeah.
So
let's all go broke together.
Yeah.
Right?
It was pretty much that. So like I called Aaron and I called Josh and I was like, this is my idea. This is how I want to do this. What do you guys think? And, they were all in. They probably thought I was nuts too, or that like it wasn't going to be like, kind of like a small pipe dream, if you will, but like just went at it. So we called Matt and we asked Matt to do the branding, and I sat down with Matt about the root beer and what I wanted the idea to be behind it originally. So there's a story though that goes deep down the rabbit hole with this. So
oh my God. Besides like you being on the
that is not me.
Subliminally.
That is not me. He's tanner than I am. He's better looking and more muscular. It is not me. Maybe
he's got fuller hair.
Maybe 18 years.
He's got fuller hair.
Yeah.
That's 2001 you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
2001 me is one I like to forget.
Yeah,
thanks.
that's fine.
That was Goodfellas you.
There was
Maybe.
there was no good fella there whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just a fella.
Yeah, it was just a fella.
You were just a fella.
Felony.
Yeah.
So we were on tour together in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was 2015, and I hadn't had a haircut in 2.5 months.
Sorry, you said Knoxville, Tennessee. I have to on behalf of Keith Wallen. Hi, Keith, and go Vols.
Yeah. So I found a haircut place because when a Middle Eastern man such as myself doesn't have one for 2 months, we start looking like somebody that they pull over in TSA. So
we can laugh because like you.
I'm allowed to be it to myself.
God.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I go in this barbershop parlor and they said, just go sit in the back in the waiting room. The assistant for the barber will be out in a second. I'm like, assistant? What assistant? So I walk in this back parlor area and they have pool tables, arcade games, jars of jerky for free, just a complete man cave. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, great vibe, like cool hang. And the assistant comes back and she's like, I'm going to take you into the barbershop chair. I'm going to give you a massage first. I'm like, a massage? So she pulls out this old school 1950s massager that's got like one of the beaters like this that's on the hydraulic, and she's just smashing my back and neck like there's no tomorrow. Like it looks like a jackhammer. And I'm like, this is cool. Like you're in a bunk for 1.5 years. You're just like, get it all out. Great. Barber comes in and he's this big burly guy, huge burly guy. And he's just tatted all the way down his arms, top to bottom. And it's got the big apron on, real slick greaser haircut from the 50s. And puts the whole apron on me. He doesn't ask me what I want. He tells me what I'm going to get. That was it.
You had no choice.
He's like, this is what I'm going to do. And that's it. I was like, cool. Best haircut I've ever had in my life. It was totally great experience. He looks at me and he's like, He's like, are you happy? Everything great? I'm like, what a great experience. I'm like, you're a phenomenal barber. He's like, thanks. And he reaches over, opens the fridge, pulls out a frosted mug, and pours a root beer on tap at his barber chair. I'm like, I'm done. This is it. Like, now you've sealed the deal. So I go home a couple months later, and I haven't, had a haircut again. I'm sitting there, and I got over and said, I think I'm going to go get a haircut tomorrow. And at that point, like, a significant other looks at me, and she's like, well, when are you going to be home? I'm like, tomorrow, maybe the day after. She's like, what? And I'm like, I'm going to fly to Knoxville. So I flew back to Knoxville to go get a haircut to see if I get that same exact experience. And I got it. So that, when we talk about memories and experiences and things that affect you and things that leave a lasting impression, that story left one on me. I never forgot that. And when we started to begin to do the branding of this, it all conceptualized into that moment because I wanted everybody else to experience that moment through the branding, which is why we were all talking about one time calling it shop because we were talking about barbershops.
Oh, no. You don't get off the hook.
Oh, no. We'll get back to that. You can embarrass me in a minute, but I want.
Please do. No,
it'll be fine. I do it to myself every day.
Go ahead.
But basically, like, I also wanted it to kind of blend in with the rock genre and, music and everything else. So the original name that I was thinking of calling it was...
Here it comes.
No,
Here it is. Here we go.
You can do it.
It started with a meeting that was with just me, John, and Josh Ball's our other partner. And he's like, he gives us that whole story that you guys just got. Really cool story.
He's setting it up. He's setting it up.
It's a really good story.
It is a good fucking story.
Like ready to go, like goosebumps and shit, right? And he just comes out and he's like, and it's called Rock and Roll Root Beer. And no, it's not.
And then I think we need a pause here.
We're like,
I was like, okay.
No, that name. The name sucked. So the concept, great. The concept, great. The vision behind it, great. The name,
terrible.
Awful.
Work in progress.
So yeah, then we thought of we were sitting there like kind of throwing things out there that let you, that reminded you of, well, it started with, after John's story, it was like, everybody's got a root beer story, right? Everybody's got a root beer. Do you remember the first time you had root beer? Do you remember?
Me? I don't know.
So for me, it was that me and Josh was actually kind of the same one. It was like at Knoebels. And I remember they had like the frosted keg of root beer back there. And I just remember getting that at Knoebels. So it's like,
yeah, I think, everybody, whether you have a story or not, everybody just, the root beer is it's nostalgic. It takes you back to your childhood.
It's Americana,
right?
Yeah.
It does, no matter what, whether like you said, you have a specific story and, I don't think I can tell you a specific moment in time, but the only thing what I think about is just like family and childhood and just drinking a cold root beer, in the summer as a kid,
or a root beer float or whatever.
With your buddies.
Yeah. Yep. So then, so we sat there, we started throwing back and forth names, and it was like, because it's very much tied to like barbershops, tattoo shops, stuff like that.
This is where Parlor comes in?
So that's where...
You said Parlor in the story.
So that was where...
I picked up on that.
So that was where Parlor came in, because it's also a tattoo parlor,
Barbershop parlor.
Hair salons are called parlors all the time, and I don't know about you, but my grandmother had a parlor too that I had plastic on the furniture and you weren't allowed to sit on anything.
Of course, yeah, everybody had that.
So
sit on the plastic.
It's like,
yeah. Making the awkward, like, crunching sounds.
So, and then, so we decided, Parlor, it's got a really good ring to it. We like it. And then it was like 2 weeks later, I think, that the no longer, at least I don't think it's still a social media site, was it? But the social media site started blowing up, and we're like, well, do we rename it? And it's like, well, we're really, so we tried to have an answer. Then we were like, well, we need to have an answer if somebody asks if it's like related to that website. And it's like, no, we're not. We're not trying to be social justice warriors over here. We're just we're just social root beer drinkers. That's it.
And that's kind of the whole point of the product too. It's about inclusivity. In America, at that point when we were making this, was in a very difficult in transitional time as far as identity, you know, is whether you stood on this side of it or this side of the ideals, whether you're over conservative or liberal or extreme liberal. The fact is that there's some commonality roots.
Yeah, we can all drink root beer, right?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
It's like, that's the thing. Everybody cares about their kids. Everybody cares about their family. Everybody, you throw all that shit out the window. There's still the same ideals as far as what everybody wants inside of their home and their house. You know, that whether you're, you know, from a Caucasian side, you know, the African American side, or you're Japanese or Native American or whatever it is, or whether it's religion or whether it's political, like, ideals are really the same in a lot of regards when it comes to your own household. And we wanted to basically send a message about a product that didn't care what you were, you know, and it was all about the fact of saying, you know, when we had the slogan, drink more effing root beer, as we said, and, you know, we'll get into some stories about that too. That's the way that slogan in and of itself was meant to be celebratory, to find a common, you know, aspect, which would be this root beer, and B, drink more effing root beer also means like, stop with the BS and just enjoy yourself. Like, that's really kind of the messaging that's behind this. You know, and the fact is too, is that the brand has had a very aggressive and unforgiving tone to it when it comes to its marketing, to which there's been some flack on it.
Yeah.
And
Turns out there are people who still like eggnog.
yeah.
How do we know that? How do we know that? There's one person who still likes eggnog and is willing to fight for it on social media.
You know, it was kind of amusing.
Bless you. That was the best comment ever. Thank you.
funny.
We miss you. Please come back.
Well, we had so that was, we have some billboards that have been, you know,
Aggressive.
we've made choices. You know, we've made choices. Whether those are good choices or not, they're definitely the choices we made.
But they were they were disruptors.
They live on the internet still,
Yeah, they
right?
live on the internet forever. So our
Do I have to bring them up like right
so
now?
we're far enough into this now that I can say it. All right. So we had one that just said fuck eggnog, drink root beer. And that was our Christmas billboard. And we learned a lot about advertising, and that between certain hours, the word fuck has to have three asterisks up to a certain time, and then only 2 after that certain time.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules. Yeah, I mean, and that was it was up for interpretation. It could have been anything, to be honest with you. So it's like, but the thing about language, when it comes to anything, language in and of itself, words are not bad. Context is what's bad. If I was to look at you and say, you know, that guy's an effing asshole, that's not proper. That's
just cut off effing, but said asshole.
Yeah, right. I like that. Yeah.
I'm trying to be somewhat polite here. You know, somewhat.
All right.
I'm at the PG-13.
It's fine.
Yeah. I'll go rated R if you want me to. It's fine.
It's okay.
And basically, like, the context behind that is vulgar and it's inappropriate and it's disrespectful. If I was to look at you and say, hey, man, wanna go out for a fucking drink later? That's celebratory.
It's like acceptable then.
But the thing is, and this is where the hypocrisy to me exists, is that you can't say it when you're trying to be celebratory and get people to let their guard down. But it's totally appropriate to say it in front of your kids, in front of other adults, in front of anybody else that you know. But when it comes to business, it's almost like you're improper. And that, to me, is wrong. You're improper if you're being vulgar and disrespectful regarding it. Kids will get into anything. As much as you want to shelter them from stuff, you know, an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, what they're doing to not let their parents know about it is a whole other story. And the same thing goes for adults too. You know, we had a little bit of pushback again when it came to the ladies that are on the 4-packs and everything, because obviously they're pinup girls, but it's still like a sense of class from like the 50s and everything, the way that like even like the bathing suits and things of that nature. And to me, it's like, you know, somebody might say like, oh, well, maybe that looks sexist. And my response is, I think it's empowering, because you're not ashamed of yourself, of who you are. You know, society has had some norms, and I'm not saying that anybody should be sexist or anybody should be disrespectful to any gender or whatever anybody would like to identify as, because that's your God-given right that you have, and you have the right to be happy. That's the biggest thing. I always say people have the right to be happy as much as they have the right to be miserable. So when it came to this, it was not about the fact of trying to be a disruptor for the branding, for the language to be aggressive, or for it to be risque. It was meant to celebrate who you are and what it is that your personality becomes. You know, tattoos are more of a social norm now than they used to be. You know, and that deserves some praise and celebration in and of itself. You know, if you get a tattoo, there's a reason most of the time that you're getting a tattoo. Maybe it's, you know, you're out with your buddies and you're drunk one night and you think it's a good idea. That's one thing. But it's still a reason. And, you know, the one thing that I can say about this brand is that we're very proud of what we've done, even in the face of adversity with people that have told us, you can't do this. And my response back to that is, yes, I will. And so will we.
Did you throw effing in there, though?
You
should have. Probably.
Maybe. You know, I think that, like, you have to shake shit up sometimes. You know, if you go down a path of normal, of what society considers normal, you get the same results every single day. Norms become norms because somebody changed the rules. And that's the evolution.
I love that. I love breaking the rules.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of that with this brand in general. It's funny. So we haven't done a whole lot of advertising just because of like we're fortunate enough to have the infrastructure that we do, where we individually have relatively large reaches. So we haven't had to spend a lot of money on direct advertising.
You're in front of a couple 2-3 people every now and again.
But when we do, but it's funny because when we do, it constantly gets, like, if we try to do like targeted Facebook advertising or Instagram advertising, it always gets thrown back to us as this is an alcohol product. You can't sell this because you can't advertise. It's like, no, it's really, it says non-alcoholic on it. Like, I mean,
yeah, it may say beer, but it has root.
Yeah. So it's so we're constantly running into stuff like that. And then like the things, the slogans that we do use, we run into other problems with. So we had fuck eggnog, drink root beer. For Valentine's Day, we just had a big, like, blinding bright pink billboard that just said, nobody loves you. And then underneath it said, it said, to be clear, nobody loves you like root beer. And it was basically just that was our promo code for Valentine's Day. Was the promo code was nobody loves you, and you get 10 or 15% off or whatever. And then there was
no, and then there was the big one, which you even pushed back on.
I was like, oof, yeah, one was rough.
So I went into the office one day with our marketer Matt, and I was like, I want a billboard, and up on all this stuff, I'm like, we need to poke the bear. And poke the bear in quite a way that people will just laugh their asses off. And he's like, well, what are we going to put? I'm like, we need something that's double standard. So on that billboard, we need to have, don't do Coke, drink more fucking root beer. And
the original mock-up, for this advertisement was far more aggressive than where we ended. Let me just say that. The original one was like, the billboard was like Coke red, and there was some definite copyright infringement with the font.
Copyrighted, I love that.
Which I shot down also.
Just like the font was there, and then the font turned from just a white line going across the bottom of it.
I shot that down,
I was like,
too.
okay, this is like...
That's borderline not good.
This is very...
The slogan in and of itself was, you know, to me, I thought it was hysterical, and it's our biggest selling t-shirt.
It is. We also got shut down for the Father's Day one too, which I can't remember exactly what that one was. I think it was like root beer never brought your car home all smashed up for Father's Day, and it was and then our promo code for that was use promo code vasectomy. Yeah, and there was like a picture. There was like scissors in the ad. It was good. So we're always trying to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, have relatable stories and stuff like this. So,
yeah. You know, I want to kind of go back a little bit. We're gonna kind of switching gears almost.
Steer the ship.
But then we're gonna come back to Parlor because there's more things we got to talk about.
Okay.
But you know, going back to when John was talking about musicians in the industry.
Yeah.
And people the struggles, right? You talked about John. You talked about the struggles of rock and roll guys and or gals and like hip hop rap people, the struggles, and they have such similar stories, struggles coming up in the music industry and everything. So I kind of want to just, touch on that a little bit with Aaron and, kind of, with your story, coming up.
Oh, dude. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started, I started playing in the area years and years and years ago. And it was, that's actually how I met Ben, was in this area. I was friends with who was actually the original bass player of Breaking Benjamin, dude we used to call Bug. It was Jonathan Price. It was super dude, one of my favorite people on the planet. And so it was 6 days a week going out and just playing shows wherever you could, whether that was driving a half hour from home or 6 hours from home or whatever. And it was back and forth every single day. And I was working in a factory, and I was playing on weekends. And then the one day I went to work, I'm not trying to keep track or anything. It was July 3rd, 1999. And
not that you remember, or anything,
not that
right?
I remember it all, but I was, I went into work and I got laid off that day. And then I went home, and I was like, well, hon, I got laid off today. And she said, and she was like, okay, well then you're going to get, you're going to get a couple months of unemployment. So why not see if you can make a run at the music thing? Cause you're going to have, we're going to have money coming in from unemployment. So you might as well try and make it work. And from there I found, I actually started with, what was the first band that I was in from? Oh yeah, that's right. So do you remember The Weekender?
Yeah.
Do you remember The Weekender? So there was an ad. So Media 5 Entertainment had an ad in The Weekender. This is a great story because it's very cathartic. And she had 3 bands that were looking for bass players. And I called, her name was Lynn Carey, who ran Media 5 Entertainment. Sorry, I was telling the story poorly. But so I called Lynn and I was like, hey, I want to play full time. And she was like, okay. She's like, well, the first band, and now you have to remember that back then I had really long hair.
Welcome to the future. While you're hearing this ad in the present, the Center for Technology Innovation at Lackawanna College is preparing students for the jobs of tomorrow in the world of advanced technology. The Center for Technology Innovation will offer undergraduate degree programs, corporate training, as well as short-term stackable certificates in areas such as robotics, cybersecurity, electric vehicles, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. Based at a 90,000 square foot facility in downtown Scranton, Pennsylvania, the Center for Technology Innovation is located 2 hours from the major cities of New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and is just 15 minutes from a commercial airport in a region thriving with tourist attractions and a vibrant restaurant, educational, and cultural scene. Lackawanna College is a proven industry-leading innovator. But don't just take my word for it. Fast Company even recognized Lackawanna College's reputation for innovation by naming them to their top 10 list as one of the world's most innovative companies. For more information or to enroll, call 877-346-3552 or visit lackawanna.edu. You did?
I had really long hair.
Did he?
It was
the thing.
Yeah, it was really long. And Lynn was like, okay, well, there's this one band, but they're probably going to ask you to cut your hair. And I was like, okay, well, that's dumb, but whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And she's like, the second band is they're a Dave Matthews tribute band, and that's probably going to be the band that's going to make you the most money. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. She's like, and the third band, they're really not that good, and you shouldn't even go and don't even put any thought into that one. So she was really steering me towards this Dave Matthews tribute band, which I did end up joining, and I played in that band for years, and it was good. It was good. The third band at the time was a band that was called Plan 9. So I never went and saw Plan 9, and the band I joined was called Crush, and I was playing Dave Matthews songs in Crush for a couple years, and like a few months after that, Plan 9 changed their name to Breaking Benjamin. So so at Lynn's advice, I didn't go see the band that I'm now in. So but that was where Bug joined the band, and he called me and was like, "Hey, dude, you got to come check out my new band." And I went down and checked them out, and they were doing like Godsmack covers and Tool covers. The band was just starting out. It was crazy. And they were really, really good. And I was super busy and just kind of, I remember that first night that I went down, Ben asked me to come up and I played Mud Shovel by Stained with them that night. And that was cool. So that was the first time I ever played with Ben. This was probably late 1999, maybe early 2000. I don't know, but it was still, it was at the Voodoo Lounge way back in the day, which in Breaking Benjamin lore, there are so many people who will be like, "Oh, well, I remember back in the day at
I
the
knew
Voodoo
them when."
Lounge.
Yeah,
I remember.
right?
I was one of like those first 5-10 people that used to go see him at the Voodoo Lounge. So I know. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I was there. I didn't see you there, but unless you look different, you know. It's like there's like thousands of people are one of the first 5 to 10 that were there.
Yeah, that's right. There's so many. Like how
there.
how many of the first 5 could there actually be, right?
Yeah. So
You
I
were
mean,
there.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I had a. So that was the beginning of that, and then I met Ben, and we got along really well, and I'd go see them whenever I could, and Ben would always be like, "Hey, why don't you come up and play something? Why don't you come up and play something?" And I did, and it was that was always fun. Me and him kind of always wanted to do something together, but it just like it was like the paths didn't cross. So I went on doing my thing, and after Crush, I started another band with my good friend Steve Husted. That was called State of Mind, and we played here in the area for I think it was exactly 6 months. That band was a band. And then,
So it lasted a long time.
yeah, it lasted a long time. It was really, really fun. Well, our drummer ended up leaving, and our other singer and Steve went and started a new band, and I joined UUU. So that was, and over the course of this, I started doing solo acoustic shows too, which were a whole thing. That was, good Lord. I would tell all the stories if I could remember them.
I quit drinking because of those shows.
You did
For a while.
But yeah, so
You
then
look traumatized, John.
It was a traumatic moment.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it in your face.
There's a lot about that story that I'm just not gonna say.
Yeah, you shouldn't
At all.
It's all right. It was, yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Look what you did to him.
I didn't do anything. That was.
I did it all
I'm sorry.
myself.
I'm
trust
sorry.
me.
Scott did that to you.
Yes, he
Not
did.
me.
Yes, he
Scott did that
Yes,
to
he
you.
did.
Not me. Thank you. For
Ruthless.
Your Honor, for clarification,
You're
I did
ruthless.
not do that.
It was ruthless.
But yeah, after State of Mind, I joined UUU, and that was another cover band, and it was a lot. It was a lot. Like we worked, as a touring musician now, we worked harder than most touring bands that are out there right now. And most of the places that we would play at, it was crazy. There were people that would drive hours to come see us 4 times a week. People would drive 2 and 3 hours to come see us. And it's like, I just saw you yesterday. I'm only driving here because I'm getting paid to be here. You guys are driving
To spend your money.
you guys
paying.
are driving and
Yeah.
it was which I'm very thankful for. And but it was a lot of the places that we would play at, the other bars that were in the area would try and book national acts, like to try and compete with what we're what we're doing. Like, you remember?
Yes.
We used to play at this place called the Hardware Bar in Harrisburg, and I can't remember the name of the bar next door, but
Dragonfly.
the Dragonfly, that was it. And then, but yeah, every time we went there was a different national act. Like the one night we were playing and Tonic was next door, and Tonic ended up being done early, and they came over to our show and played Sweet Home Alabama, which was awesome.
I would like to bring up the story of when the bars decided to start putting the national acts before us, and then we would have to play afterwards. So
that was Croc Rock, yeah.
It was Banana Joe's too, where the one night we go down to Banana Joe's in Allentown to play, and Faster Pussycat is on the stage before us. And the first thing that our drummer decides to do is to open up the show for when we're playing with Love Shack by the B-52s. And it was just...
The other side, side of that was the one night at Croc Rock.
I know where this is going.
The one night at Croc Rock, we show up and there are just buses outside. And we're like, oh my God, what is going on? So it was Power Man 5000 and Life of Agony were on before us.
And American Head Charge.
We're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. So we play. I don't know if you've ever heard anything about you. So we played party music, like we were a party band, and so it was a lot of light stuff. You know what I'm saying? We had a medley of songs from the movie Grease. Okay, this is not something that. Yes, he sang the Olivia Newton-John parts and he sang them beautifully, but it was. We're going on after like people that drove from Brooklyn to see a New York hardcore show, and they're like, okay, well, yeah, let's maybe not go out and start with Love Shack because we might die.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was, you never knew. It was crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. Really, really crazy.
Were you at the show? Did you play the show when it was the downstairs of Croc Rock that we went down there and the ceiling broke? So the one night we're playing on the stage of Croc Rock, they decided to put bands in the downstairs also. Like the club started to go downhill. It just some bars and clubs, they just have their cycle.
It was literally falling apart.
So
literally going downhill.
We're playing on the secondary stage in the downstairs, and I'm looking over and it's just drip, drip. Lots of drips. And I'm like, and upstairs there was a hip hop show. I can't remember which one it was, but I know that they had literally run out of Hennessy twice upstairs. Bathrooms were just flowing. All of a sudden, the ceiling just collapses. And
I was not there for that.
It is a river of piss coming down on the drum kit.
Oh no!
It was. Like, I just remember, like, all of it opening, and I grabbed my keyboards and, like, literally moved my whole stand off the stage, and I just watched a river of piss on the drum kit. It's like one of those surreal moments.
It was a giant golden shower.
It literally was just, like, where I just said before, and I'm, like, watching this. So, it's the expression where I've said, I'm like, every decision I've ever made in my life has brought me to this exact moment.
Yeah,
right now.
It brought you to that exact moment.
That was my path, and that's where life led me.
Follow the yellow.
The world's
piss road.
largest golden shower. The yellow piss road.
Yeah, follow the yellow piss road.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
and that's not even scratching the surface.
There was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh my God.
So Aaron, for you, at what point then? So you're doing,
So yeah, I'm doing like
you're doing all this.
And actually, so after,
because you and Ben eventually meshed.
Yeah. After you broke up, like I joined a couple other bands. We were going down the road, and I helped John start MCR Productions.
That's very true.
He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do uplighting for weddings." That's where it started. I'm gonna do uplighting for weddings. So he had like 8 lights in a really small U-Haul storage unit, and that was it. And we're like, okay. So helped him with that, and then he's like, "Yeah, now I'm gonna get into lighted acrylic furniture." Okay, all right. those are much heavier than just lights. And it got, you know, and the company expanded so quickly over the first year. And it was like, so now I was driving all over doing that. And it was great because I didn't have to worry about booking shows and going and playing other places. And then, you know, I started giving private lessons up at Wayne's World in Dallas. And Wayne, the guy who owned the place, is a really good friend. And so I was up there giving lessons the one day, and I got a phone call from Ben, and he was out on tour, and he was like, "Hey man, so I'm gonna be coming home soon, and I want to do some acoustic shows, and I was wondering if you would come and like sing with me for them." And I said, "Oh, absolutely." I'm like, you know, I'm not like I can play acoustic guitar. Like I'll never say that I'm like a lead guitar player. I'm like, you know, I'm not a lead guitar player, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I really don't care. I really just want to sing with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll figure it out then." So he came home and we got together, and then in 2010, we did 2 acoustic shows together. And he was like, "Man, I really want to do more of these." We had so much fun. It was the shows were great. Just the rehearsals to do them were awesome. And he was just like, yeah, he's like, you know, I really love to do something with you in the future. And I was like, "Oh, absolutely. Absolutely." And then, you know, things happened the way they happened. And Ben was just like, "Okay, it's time." And I was like, "Let's go." And away we went. And just, when we started back out, it was me and him, and that was it. And then we found Sean, and it was, yeah. And we found Sean, and then Jason, we had asked, you know, when we first started playing together, Ben was like, "I know this guy, he's in Adelita's Way, and he's a really good singer, and I think he would fit really well with us." I was like, "Okay." So, and Ben's side of the story is that Keith said no, and Keith's side of the story is that Keith did not say no. So I'm gonna not take a side there, but I remember it was just me, you know, so it was me, Sean, and Ben. And then, one day I was just like, "Call Jason again." So Jason being Jason Rao, who was in the band Red, who had done a bunch of writing with Breaking Benjamin in the past as well. So, and it was, "Just call him again. Just call him again. Tell him I said that." And when me and John were in a band together called Hour After, we played a bunch of shows with Red. So we had met Jason on multiple occasions, and let's just call him again. So this time we called him, and Ben actually, it turned out that Jason and Keith were already friends, which was great. That worked out super great. So they came in and auditioned together. And when they came in, it was like, "Okay, yeah, this is it. This is it." And they didn't say no. Jason and Keith, thank you for not saying no again. I appreciate it. I really do. So now, you know, and it's just been from that point on, because Jason had come off of the road. He didn't want to tour anymore because touring was miserable. Ben was never really happy on tour. You know, I had always been the guy who was just like driving myself, or like one of my bandmates would drive, and like we'd carpool down together or whatever. But it was always a thing where like, no matter how far we had to drive, whether it was to Allentown or West Virginia, we would drive there and back same day, and then play somewhere else the next day. So yeah, I had a completely different experience with what my, you know, I wouldn't say that what I did was touring previous to that, but I had definitely spent my fair share of time on the road and, you know, hustling and putting in the work. But being on the road is a totally different thing. So we were like, we just want to do this because it's fun. Like, we want to have fun for each other. And we all kind of sat down and had a conversation that we just, you know, we don't ever want things to like get in between us. And we always wanted to be able to have an open line of communication and not have people have stuff build up, and just, you know, have that openness where you could be like, "Hey man, this is kind of bothering me." And have the other person have your back and have the respect to say, all right, well, let's figure it out. You know, so, and because of that from the beginning, it's been 9 years now. I think we're going on 9 years.
I think it was
since
2014.
Yeah. So we're going on like 9 years. It's been awesome. And we just finished this tour last year with Alice in Chains and Bush, which are two super important bands to me, because the album 16 Stone was probably one of the first albums that I ever heard. It was like, wow, this is perfect from beginning to end. Like, and there were a lot of them that came out in that time, but 16 Stone is one of them that stands out. Like, this every song is great. And then, you know, Alice in Chains, of course. Facelift is a great album. You know, and Dirt's a great album. Jar of Flies is a great album. The way they use harmony was so just important to me. So getting to do that tour was just insane, and just bringing that all back, like that whole thing, just circling back from playing in cover bands to now playing with the bands that you used to cover is like, it's pretty crazy. To like, the first night of that Alice in Chains tour, we played in Philadelphia, and I remember walking off stage, and we came out of or Pittsburgh. Did I say? I don't remember what I said, but anyway. So I was walking off the stage, and I come walking up this ramp, and there's Jerry Cantrell standing outside of his dressing room. And he looks over, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Aaron, that was a great show." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And I walked around the corner. I was like, "Holy shit, that's Jerry Cantrell. He knows my name." Like, I'm looking, like, yeah, he's definitely talking to me. That's nuts. They're so nice, though.
I think you get the goat chain now.
That came from that whole... No, Jerry Cantrell gets the goat chain.
Yeah.
Jerry Cantrell gets that.
We got to get this guy the goat chain. Want me to come get it?
Might have to.
All right, here we go.
I got a lot going on here.
You just got to we're going to need a bigger goat chain.
We are.
You're going to need like a longer one that you can just like put over somebody's...
Right? I need like a giant one.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Like a big rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The giant, like a
the giant one. That just
giant.
They don't have to actually like clip it on somebody.
Right.
It just fits over their head.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
This is like too small, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's like a choke. It's like a choker on me.
Look, I failed. I wrapped the cord in it. Look at me.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God! I failed. What a fail.
That's fine. That's all right.
Do it right.
If at first you don't succeed,
lower your standards. That's right. That's right.
There. And what'd you say? Go say that quote. Was that quote again? You said about like playing with the cover bands, like, and then.
Oh yeah. So, you know, from going from playing with a cover band to sharing a stage with the bands that you used to cover, it's just the feeling of that. I thought you wanted me to repeat the "if at first you don't succeed, lower your standards."
We can say that too.
Also very important,
yes,
kids.
Definitely. Yes.
if you're going to fail, do it well.
Yeah. Own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Fail good.
But yeah, we've had a bunch of those over the course of our time with the band. Like between, you know, Alice in Chains was just the most recent one, but Chevelle, you know, just sitting down, eating dinner, you know, with Sam and Pete, and just being like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy." And then the night that our one lighting guy almost killed Pete. That was great. If you want, so it was Dan who ran Dimmer Beach. If you don't tour, all that lighting and all that trussing and all of the electricity that's going up there all runs through one central hub on the side of the stage that's called Dimmer Beach. And we had a guy over there. His name was Dan, and we used to call him Dimmer Dan.
Dimmer Dan.
And Dimmer Dan, we had if you had seen. So if you had seen that tour that we did with Chevelle, before we went on, there's a big curtain that comes down after Chevelle is done and before we go on, and that big white curtain stays there until it's time for us to play. And then when our set starts, the curtain drops. It's called a kabuki, is what that thing is called. It's held up there with an electromagnet. We're playing in California. It was very windy. And the fire marshal was like, "Hey, it's probably not a good idea. As soon as you let that thing drop, it's going to blow right into the stage." So they made the decision that we're not going to use the kabuki that night.
No kabuki.
No kabuki tonight.
No kabuki.
No kabuki tonight. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So Chevelle is playing. They finish their set with I Get It, and Dan gets the word during this song.
Dimmer Dan.
And Dimmer Dan is like, sick. I'm going to save myself some time, and I'm just going to turn off the kabuki now. Like, I'll just turn it off. I'll just turn it off. So the kabuki is held directly at the front edge of the stage, all the way up in the ceiling, and it's held up by an electromagnet. I don't know if you know what happens to an electromagnet when you turn off the electricity, but the electro part goes away, and it's no longer a magnet.
It doesn't work.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens is the whole kabuki falls out of the little thing that it's held up there in, and it turns out they were correct. We should not have used it because it came
So the fire marshal was right.
So he was right.
He was right.
It came down, it fell out of the sky and immediately blew into the stage and covered all of the men in Chevelle during their last song. During their last song, and you just hear he's like
Perfect
singing,
timing.
he's like everything's awful, and then Sam the drummer is like behind his drum, sees the curtain come falling down, and if you know anything about Chevelle, you know that Sam and Pete are brothers, so he sees his brother go down and he just gets up, runs out from around the drum set. Everybody in the crowd is like, oh my god, that's how they end their show, it's so cool.
The grand finale.
Meanwhile, everybody on stage is freaking out because they think that Pete died. And it's like, no. So thankfully, he was okay. Everyone was fine. And Dimmer Dan didn't even lose his job. If you guys would like to see this happen, you can go
gotta see this.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, after you're done with this, because please watch the entire video
and subscribe
and subscribe. It's really important for the algorithm. If you could drop a comment right about now, that'd be sick. We'd
right now,
appreciate it.
drop the comments.
Just drop a comment.
Drop comment Dimmer Dan. How about that?
Absolutely. There you go.
I'm going to watch this.
Dimmer Dan.
There you go. So but then after that, you can look up Chevelle magic trick, and then go to like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And then
This is it. Chevelle magic trick.
Chevelle magic trick. Go to like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And then you can just see, it's somewhere around there. It's somewhere, but it was...
You're giving me something to do tonight.
It was absolutely...
I feel like I have to look this up right now.
It was absolutely... Go right ahead. Yeah, please.
What is this?
Please do it.
We got to do this. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going on YouTube, and what am I? What
Chevelle.
am I?
Chevelle. Chevelle. Magic trick.
Okay, magic trick.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Okay, so do you know which one I'm picking? Well, I guess I can throw it up on the screen.
Yeah, throw it up on the. Can you?
Yeah, I'm really bad at technology here. So let me see if I can. Here we go. Ready? Oh wait, I got this other thing in the background though. I got to minimize our photo. I'm like really bad with. Hold on, guys. I'm really failing.
That's right. You know what? Hey, and I think that even if they throw it in here and post, it could be.
Yeah. Oh wait, here we go. I think. All right, now we're getting somewhere.
We're moving.
We're getting somewhere. Here we go. I don't know how to get this on the other screen. Hold on. Here we go. Come on. There we go. We're almost there, people. I hope people are still watching at this point.
You better be. Right?
I mean,
now I feel like they're as invested in this as you are right
now.
now.
I mean, this is a struggle, guys. I'm struggling.
The build up to this is incredible,
isn't it?
Like we're waiting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there.
There it is.
Right there. 3 years ago,
Wait,
7.
This
that one right there.
That's the second one.
Chevelle magic trick. Second one.
So the worst part about this right now is actually, so the cameras will show the TV, but people probably really won't be able to see it. So we're probably gonna have Eric throw something up. Is this gonna be like a copyright infringement?
As long as you're under 30 seconds, you're fine.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go to the.
So go to like 250.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. We go to 250.
There we are. Welcome
was that 5
Welcome
point?
to 5 Point Amphitheater.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. 250.
Yeah.
Precisely. All right. Let's go start at 244.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Hold on. Make sure we got sound here. Does it have good sound?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We got 30 seconds.
Oh no,
people.
It's already down.
Ah shit.
It's already down. Maybe it's 230. 230. Go back to 230.
All right. Here we go. Rolling back.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah.
Going back to 130.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's so cool. Yeah, here you go.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Now look above. You see how the white up top is starting to get bigger? There it is. Hey, look at that.
Kabuki.
That's a kabuki. Yeah, turns out We shouldn't have used it, guys.
Shouldn't have used that.
You know what the bassist is over in the Dimmer Beach, and he's like this with his head.
Yeah.
But you can see Dimmer Dan.
Yeah, Dimmer Dan, just chilling.
Dimmer
Don't
Dan.
worry about it, Dan. Put that anywhere.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just put that anywhere.
Oh my God! Look at this. I'm like royally screwing this up. I don't even know where the screen went now. I lost the video. Jeez.
Yeah.
And good thing we're only drinking root beer here.
So if you guys
seriously,
if you
Guys.
don't know,
oh my, thank God we're only drinking root beer.
I love the band Chevelle. I've loved almost every single one
Dimmer
of their
Dan
albums.
almost killed him.
And
Yeah.
we almost killed him. Like we almost killed our heroes, which would have been super unfortunate. Thankfully they made it through okay. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm sorry. I took it. That 30-second, not even video. It took us like 20 minutes just to get.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
I think it was worth it.
worth it.
I'm probably gonna
100%
watch
worth it.
that like a couple more times.
Please drop a comment. Worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop. Yes. Worth it. Yeah. Drop worth it right now,
Yeah.
so we know that you at least made it to this point
thank you.
of the show.
Yeah.
But thank God this is just root beer here
Oh my God,
because can you imagine if this was actually like booze we were drinking right now? Like I don't even think I would have gotten up that video on the screen. I mean, you saw how difficult it was for me.
It's I'm
gonna crack another.
Technology,
by the way.
Technology is a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
It's a thing.
We need
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So so by the way, as of tonight, this is the first time I've ever had your root beer. Actually, no, I've never had.
You've never had the root
I've never
beer?
had the root beer.
Just had a birch beer.
I only had the birch beer. So this is my first taste of the actual root
All right.
beer. All right.
Live reaction.
Ready? One sip.
There you go.
Everybody knows the rules.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Can I get a
Yeah.
drum roll or something
Go
at
ahead.
least?
Paid actor. Yeah, there we go. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Delicious.
Yeah, cut that, send it over, put it on our social media. Thank you.
Buy more fucking root beer.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Drink more
There we
fucking
go.
root beer.
Yeah. There it is.
So yeah. So that brings us back to
We're back to Parlor.
We're back to Parlor.
Yeah,
this isn't all. We're not all over the place at all.
No, we're not.
Thank God.
This is very structured, guys.
Yeah,
this is
very structured.
We're here.
Yeah, this is a very structured show. As you can see, I mean, it took me 20 minutes to get up a 30-second clip on the TV.
Yeah.
I got to practice that a little bit more.
You know what?
But hey,
how often are you gonna have to do that though? Like, how
not-
often do you really?
not
have to
not that
worry
often
about it?
because like I mean, you know, there's not often that like, a really good story like that comes up that like I had to see it in the moment.
Yeah, and there's video doc. Yeah, it's very
Right?
Usually it's like, dude, you should have been there, man.
Yeah,
But
it's
this
like-
wasn't like a
yeah,
should have been.
It's
like,
usually one of those stories. It's like, oh yeah, it was a cool story. Tell it again.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
It's
like, no, yeah, I have a girlfriend. I swear to God, you don't know her. She goes to another school. It's in Canada. No, don't worry about it. You
she
can't- you
exists.
can't-
Yeah,
you
we
can't-
talk
yeah,
on
you can't find her.
We talk on AIM. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is
Everybody knows
not
what
only
AIM is.
not only did this happen, but you can just pull up the video right now. I can't believe there's only like 700 views on that though.
Was that what
That's
it was?
Yeah, it was under 800 for
No,
sure.
there's probably gotta be a different one. That's probably like a rip-off one.
It was.
That's not. Was that the actual one? Actual video?
Well, it had the actual name, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe that was like
But
a
it was-
rip-off.
Dude.
But it's gonna
It's
have
good.
1
It's
million
gonna-
views
it's gonna have-
after
yeah,
this.
It's gonna have at least.
Shout out to Dimmer Dan
Yeah.
again.
Shout out to Dimmer Dan who didn't lose his job.
Yeah.
He did it.
That's it.
And didn't kill
did-
Pete.
He did it.
Didn't kill Pete. Thank you.
Didn't kill Pete.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
Thanks for not suing us, Mr. Loeffler. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. It's important. Yeah. Kind of important. Yeah. All right. So back to Parlor. So
Yes.
you guys are, you guys are raising some money right now, right? Crowdfunding.
Yeah, so we're doing a whole lot of things. So we do have we have a lot of stuff happening, and the company is expanding
A lot.
very rapidly.
Fast.
So
Faster than that Kabuki came down.
yes,
Right?
Yes, that thing didn't even get fully expanded by the time it came down. We're out there.
Yeah.
So and it's you know. But anyway, so yeah, so we've started a bunch of really cool things. So one of which is the crowdfund that we're starting through a company called Republic, where we're giving people the opportunity to be a part of the company with us, because
Yeah. How does that work?
So the best way to describe it is this. Think of it like when you have companies that deal with IPO, pre-IPO, seed round, essentially that it all more or less stems together. We have to go through.
I don't know what any of those words mean. I play music in a band.
Big words.
It bows.
Big words.
Whatever, man.
Whatever he said.
Yeah.
So much like any kind of investment or growth of a company, you know, it obviously takes funds to expand. And, you know, whether you're going to an angel investor or you have, you know, an individual investor, this was all very much vetted with, you know, we have to go through hoops, you know, just with SEC regulations with it essentially. Cause it's like, you can't just take somebody's money and be like,
again, this is
mine.
There's a lot of words.
Too much.
That's why I'm
lawyers.
That's why I'm having
big words.
Yeah, because I'd be like, well, you ask me how it works, and I'd be like, well,
and you're like root beer.
I'd be like, well, if you're interested in owning part of the company, then you just go to the website. There's a link on drinkparlor.com. There's a link where you can click on the thing, and it takes you to see the thing that you can read, and then like if you want to own a part of the company, then you can
click.
Buy,
you could do things.
You can buy. You can. Well, now you can't actually buy it yet. You can reserve it now.
Yes.
Right.
And then soon you'll actually be able to buy it.
When will then be now? Soon.
Spaceballs reference, children. Spaceballs. Watch it. It's good.
So leave comment right now.
Comment.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Smash that like button. Ring the bell.
Please subscribe, like, subscribe, share, comment, and reserve your spot on Republic with Parlor.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's the indication of interest round essentially that we're in, and now we're going to be moving into the investment round here within a couple of weeks, very short time.
Which is the part where you actually own part of the company.
Correct.
Right now,
so
you don't
how much time is left? So this episode is going to come out in a couple of weeks from like right now, present time, like not from, you know, people that are watching this now.
So there'll probably be.
Then will be now.
Do you have a date?
Then
Do you have a
will
date?
be
Do you have a
now.
date? Do you know a date? That would be better.
Negative.
Okay.
So it's
like first week of February.
I would say
fair to
around
say.
there.
Is it
it will definitely be active by then. It won't be ending by the first week of February.
Okay, so you'll still be able to, at the time that this airs, people will still be able to, you
for
know,
about 60 days.
throw in a couple $2-3.
Yeah, you'll have like a
Right?
month. You'll have like a month from when you're watching this.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So you can collect lots of monies.
Yeah. And then
Still.
you'll be buying part of the company, and you get a bunch of cool stuff that is listed on the Republic site.
So we do have like levels of tiers essentially for like what you do invest into. Like we'll give rewards and incentives back to the clientele, you know, based upon, you know, the level of investment that they would go into with Republic. So you have to look at it in the sense of it. It's like having, you know, shares before it goes pre-IPO. Like it's all very legitimate and very vetted for what we had to do with this. And the level of interest that we've had has been humbling and shocking. You know, even when we first posted about it a couple of weeks ago,
it's been really cool.
You know, we started with 50,000. Now it's almost up to 90,000, and that's going to get expanded even more. We have some larger investors that are coming in. We cannot quite discuss that at this time because it needs to be announced later. But it's a really exciting process. And
the large investors, me, by the way.
I wasn't going to say. I wasn't even going to say any of
Spoiler
that.
alert. Yeah.
It's just throwing out stacks of money.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yes.
You got two tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna use all
you
those.
might get the goat chain back for that one. Just for throwing the stacks. Just for throwing stacks out there. That was pretty good.
That was good.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like, you know, where to go with the company, you know, when I first wanted to get in, started up, you know, with my friends, I just want to do that shit with my friends.
I just want to do hood stuff with my friends.
It's not just about the product, you know. It was obviously like we sell merchandise too, but like goals to like look forward to is like developing a content channel focusing around music and the arts and, you know, barbershops and tattoo artists. You know, one day maybe having like a Parlor Presents concert series. You know, Red Bull had a record label.
Yeah.
You know,
So
those would
cool.
all be great areas to dive into as this grows and it goes into it. And to be quite honest with you, like we've had a rewarding experience even partnering with Blackcraft when we made the pumpkin root beer, and the visualization just went through the roof. And we've been identifying all of these areas that sit in this world for root beer, you know, branching off, like obviously with Josh, like he's got a lot in like the horror area and Strange and Unusual.
Yep.
You know,
and that ties back to the music festivals. And as we do, you know, we sponsor a lot of really cool music festivals, and we have on-site installations there where people can try them, and it's always cool to be like last year we did Incarceration Festival, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the bands that was playing at Incarceration last year, and it was cool to get there with my band and then see all the root beer stuff set up and see all of, you know, and hear the buzz on the ground about people like talking about the root beer. And it was really, really a special thing to be able to like commingle those, which was awesome. And then Josh has the Space Zebra podcast from Danny Weber Presents. That's his Twitch thing. And I got to go on that show where I was being interviewed by my business partner about the band, and then me and him kind of got to turn part of it around because we got to turn it on the other people that were on the show and be like, no, you need to try this root beer, like try it now.
Yeah.
Just prideless shills out here just doing whatever we got to do.
Buy our root beer.
Yeah. Drink fucking root beer. Do it now.
Yeah.
There was a great video of Matt Pinfield trying it for the first time and just like the face that he made. And I was like, I don't know if he thinks it's good, but let's play it a lot. Yeah, this is pretty cool. He's just like, I've never seen someone address a bottle in that manner. And it was, it was a thing.
Loved it.
But yeah, he did love it.
And again, like imagine creating a product where you have somebody that's like a legend in music as far as like journalism is concerned, and you know, being a face for like MTV for years, drinking a bottle of something that you created like magically out of thin air from a crazy idea, you know, and another mentor that you look up to in this industry, and you're like, wow, like, you know, we actually did something that even our mentors are impressed by. Like it's humbling and rewarding.
All because you started doing root beer reviews.
Yeah.
I think one of the things.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah,
think about
sure.
that. Seriously.
For sure. And
you know what I mean?
the one thing that was from those reviews was like, yeah, sure, there's, you know, most of the root beers were really good. The thing about all of them was that there's like, none of it's cool. Like it's all just really lame and just boring. So I
couldn't even tell you the name of any root beer brand.
When we got together on it, it was like, you know, everybody knows root beer is good, but nobody's ever tried to make it cool. So let's make it fucking cool. And I think we're on the right track to that.
That was a dope statement.
So it's like that's
in all due defense.
You're going to use that in an ad. You're using that. I'm going to give you that clip.
No, that was it.
I'm giving you that clip.
And we got
Eric, remember this right now?
Yeah.
Got to give credit to Chris Jones, because that was his thing that he was always saying too. Like us. Like, you know, nobody's ever made like root beer like a cool thing. Like I can remember root beer with my grandparents, you know, going up, there's like a place called, I think it's called the Barrel, that's up in like Moscow, PA. I used to go there with my grandmother, and it has like homemade root beer that you would go there, you know, be able to buy it and purchase it with. And, you know, you can remember things from like A&W, you know, going to the restaurants.
A&W.
That's I don't know why I didn't think of that. But it's not cool.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that it's not, there's no lifestyle association with that. It's never been something that's like edgy. You know, like it's Americana drink and people love it, but they've never had an identity to associate it with. Like no knock to any other root beer company that does stuff like that. I've tried tons of them, from Abita to Sioux City to, I love Hank's out of Philadelphia. And by the way, root beer is a product that was created and first invented in Pennsylvania. It was made in Philadelphia.
Dropping facts, people.
So
he's the fact guy.
Like I did a ton of research on this.
Big time fact guy.
I love it. Hey man,
that's fine.
You got your dad fact for the day.
Yeah, hey, for sure. I like it.
But you know, to me, I'm proud of that. You know, because you know, maybe a lot of times you see like these developing companies. They're coming out of New York. They're coming out of California. Like, you know, Pennsylvania's home, and to me, I'd rather have a product that's based upon my heritage of where I'm from, and quite honestly, maybe honors my grandparents in that regard too, if this is where I grew up. And I would like somebody else's kids to grow up with that and being like, oh, I can remember drinking Parlors, with my grandparents. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, while it's edgy and unforgiving, it's still nostalgic and has core values attached to it. And I think that ultimately, when there's maybe issues with the brand of looking at it, those are the things that, you kind of look past the trivial and look to the foundation of really what it gets back to, and obviously like we're stimulating, economic growth from companies like, the people that make the 4-packs here, Nipa Cartons, they're based out of Scranton. They're one of like the largest like 4-pack carton makers in America, and now we get to give, that revenue to that business that, he's got a family, around here, he's got kids, we're helping to grow his business, and it's like, please don't, think I'm an idiot for saying this, but it's like the little root beer that could essentially that everybody bet against, because people bet against this completely. And right now there's a lot of, there's no, I told you so's. There's only, when are you going to come join us? Yeah. That's the way that I look at it.
It's for sure. It's like, I hate to say I told you so, but I won't say I told you so, but I mean, what I tell you.
I told you so, right? Yeah.
It's not technically I told you so. It's just what I tell you.
Kind of, sorta.
That's it. Yeah.
You couldn't have made that any more Pittston than you possibly could have right there. It's incredible.
It's the gold chain.
It's a gold chain.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, again, like, I think it's, I like having a product to stand behind that's different and shakes shit up a little bit and gets a little bit of controversy and gets people talking. Like,
absolutely.
Imagine causing controversy with root beer. Yeah. That's the fun part. Yeah. That's the real
people
fun
people
part.
getting all fired up about it.
Yeah. All you need is just Josh Balls to go talk about it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's great.
Oh my God.
I think it's the one thing that like I'll say is that with all of the founders that we have, everybody's got their own personality and their own kind of marketing and their own kind of element they're going to bring to the table here. Matt has been incredible with the way that he branded the product. Josh is definitely a mouthpiece and a face for everybody. And he's another controversial person. And like, the thing is that Josh tapped into a market that some people just didn't know how to tap into that.
Yeah. Like, and it's like untouched and like, almost like it, like, not that it doesn't exist, but it's
yeah, for sure. But it's not, it's
there.
Yeah.
Like it's strong too. Now, granted, I hope that like market stays intact for what it is. And I'm sure that it will for a long time. Markets change too. They always will. What happened 10 years ago, what was cool is not what happens 10 years afterwards. And the great thing about businesses too, is that all businesses evolve, and including great businessmen here in this, and women, especially in this area. And the one thing about this too is like, obviously like, Aaron and I have had a relationship for, I can't even tell you how many years. And my whole thing behind this, working with Aaron, really didn't have anything to do with his visibility in the music world. My whole aspect of wanting to work with Aaron on this is because I wanted him to have a product that he could leave behind for his kids, because to me, the real value was his family. Him being in a band is just a bonus. But I much like I have kids, I would want that same thing.
We just want to do hood shit with our friends.
That's right.
Told you so.
That's it. What I tell you.
And Chris has been great to us on like a whole other like kind of business level and like leadership aspect, and has guided and coached us on many journeys of this product to help expand it and putting it into the right hands of investors and legal and everything else. Like, and he has a certain skill set and intelligence that like we don't. But to be honest with you, I don't remember if it was Rockefeller that said it, but like he always said, like, if I'm the smartest man in the room, I'm the dumbest man in the room. And you always just want to surround yourself with people that are better than you, that, at what they do.
Yeah, and each one of you plays a different role in this company, and each one of you brings a specific set of skills to the table.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sounding like
Liam Neeson.
Yeah. But seriously, each one of you brings a specific set, of skills to the table that, it's you're good at something that he's not, and you're good at something he's not, and then that's why it works so well for all of you.
We each make each other better.
Yeah.
And that's the...
Don't get me wrong. Like, we'll have pushback on each other, but it's only because of the fact that at times we just want the best for what we feel.
Yeah, so you got to challenge it.
Well, and every day is a challenge.
It is also 5
alphas,
people, 5 independently successful people that have their own independent success outside of it.
Sure.
So
yeah,
and with completely different stories, completely different paths that brought us all there. So
yeah, very different. Yeah,
all paths lead to root beer.
Yeah, all paths
That's
lead
right.
to brought us right to this moment.
All paths lead to Republic.
Yeah, Republic. Yeah.
You like
so
that?
See what you did there.
So I like that. Yeah, that's good. So
make sure you invest.
But Republic is just one of the ways that we're trying to walk the walk of that Parlor and root beer is for everybody. Because as important as it is to us that we want to have Parlor be a sense of community and, just togetherness, which of course, yes, a good way to be a part of it is to quite literally be a part of it and own a part of the company. But also that sense of community, which has led us to something else that I'm super proud of, which is our Community Impact Fund, which we're trying to help mental health initiatives in the area, which if you look at, we're talking about Josh's fan base as well as the people who tend to listen to the band that I'm in. When I'm on tour, there's not a time or there's not a day where we don't meet fans where somebody doesn't tell me a story about how our music saved their life or helped them through some kind of hardship. We had one retired serviceman who came to a show and he tried to give us his Purple Heart medal. And it was one of the most emotional things that I think I've ever been a part of in music. Because he came up to us and we're like, we absolutely can't take that, And he's like, no. He's like, nope. And he's like, I was listening to your music when I got hurt. Your music got me through all of my rehabilitation and got me to this exact place today. And I don't feel like I can move on with my life until you have it. And it was super emotional. And so stuff like that is part of the reason why having the mental health initiative is so important. And that's from the band side. And then from, growing up as a kid.
By the way, I got the chills in that story, man.
Oh,
It was unbelievable.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then from growing up as, the child of a single mom, and it was just, my brother was older than me and he was gone when I was 10. And so it was just me and my mom for a really, really long time, and watching the way that my mom struggled with her mental health and didn't get the help that she necessarily needed, and knowing that there are people out there that are going through that. And if we, through this company, can help them get to, some of the stuff that they need, I feel like it's our responsibility, because as having the voice to destigmatize, just the words mental health issue, because there are people that say, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with my brain. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my brain. You can't say that about me. And it shouldn't be that way, because everyone, I don't care if you were just born or if you're 75,000 years old. I don't care. You're still not a complete product, and you're still a work in progress. There's always going to be, everybody's going to be, have their things that they deal with, whether it's, sadness, or if they're confused, or if, just this world throws all this shit at you constantly. And a lot of people don't know, what to do with either, with those feelings or those thoughts or whatever it may be. So if we can help them to sort through it through our community outreach fund, that's something that's just, I feel like we have to do.
Yeah, we got cheers to that, by the way.
Oh,
guys.
absolutely.
Give a little cheers, because that's Awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, that's really it's really cool you guys are doing that. I mean, I think it's so great. I'm a big supporter myself of mental health, and
yeah, for
I
sure,
think it's awesome.
For sure, thank you. And it's so it's yet another arm of the root beer is for everybody. You know, it's just it all ties back to that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You guys are building a hell of a community.
we're trying, and it's sometimes overwhelming, but I'm pretty proud of where we are so far. We just recently made our first donation from the Community Impact Fund to the I believe it's the Hope program at the Children's Service Center.
Yep.
Which is for young people who have had their first psychotic break, and which is a super important time for those individuals, where they try and help them, you know, to have as normal of a life as they possibly can, and keep them out. Most importantly, keep them out of the hospital, and help them deal with what they're going through. It's a really, really underfunded program, and we were super happy to be able to go in and make our first donation to that. So yeah, we're moving along. That's the first of what is hopefully many.
Awesome. I love it.
It's been a journey. It's fun, you know. And honestly, like, like really, like since like the beginning and everything. Like my wife and my kids have been super like supportive. Like I think the coolest thing is when we first manufactured it, not in the bottles, but we did a test run of it. And I got to see my sons try it for the first time in a cup, and like their eyes like lit up. Like that's when I knew, to me as a father, like I'm making their lives happy, and I'm hoping that as much as I remembered that moment from when we're conceptualizing the product, I'm hoping that it's that moment that they'll remember when they're like, I remember when I tried my dad's root beer for the first time, you know, in the office. And they're just, I have photos of it and everything, and I'm like very super proud of that, you know, that moment. I won't be able to forget it, you know. So, and that's kind of like, again, like where we came back for this, and like root beer is like the only soda that has like a memory attachment.
It's a legacy.
Yeah.
Like
it's a legacy.
I don't know any, like, I don't really have like a memory attachment for the first time I had a Coke or like a Sprite or a Pepsi or like orange soda. I actually do remember trying 50-50 though with my grandfather. Like it was a Crystal Clubs. Like it was that's just a thing that I can remember. No. But like this is like the one soda though that I do believe like has that attachment to it for memory. So I'm hoping that like all of those, the same thing happens with all of the consumers and fans and supporters, investors, musicians, artists, and even, I guess the best way to put it is, even if the company never succeeded or something happened to it in the end, I think it's pretty cool that for like 2 years though, like some things got changed because of it. I don't foresee that happening where it won't succeed. I only see it.
But you've already made such an impact.
Yeah, like
in so many different ways.
It's been cool.
Seeing people lined up for blocks at a festival next to a 20-foot inflatable root beer bottle, that just dying to try it and saying this is the best fucking root beer I've ever had, and like being happy and being constant consumers, like I think that's pretty rewarding. That's pretty cool. That's where I say, like, sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, like the business has to profit and has to make money, but just like any business would. But the fact is that there's, you know, a change and making people happy. That's the ultimate reward out of it. So.
Definitely. It's the process of doing what you're doing that makes it rewarding.
For sure.
Right? I mean,
sure.
It really is. I mean, it's, you know, plus then I'll be able to get to say, like, I knew you guys when.
Yeah.
When you guys were here. Yeah.
I just want to do more fun things, like even like,
or, you know, you'll be, you know, you'll be signing your big podcast deal, and we'll be like, hey man, I remember when we were on that show.
Hey, remember we had all these bottles all on the table.
We were on that show. Now he's he's getting like 82-figure salary from Spotify for his podcast.
1
like
trillion
million
billion quintillion dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that we're still working on that deal, but it's
hey, you know,
it's in the works.
Yeah, you're gonna get that.
Yeah. It's in the works. You know, especially alongside Parlor here. I mean, I got Parlor alongside me. I mean, like I'm golden.
Right? That was great. That was really good. The way you held the bottle there. It was
See,
excellent.
I know what I'm doing.
Excellent. Place.
Right, guys?
Really good.
It's like I kind of
It
know.
was really good. Yeah.
You know, like the cameras, you know, like they can see this. Like
Bottle looks nice up against that. Up
Doesn't
against
it?
the salmon shirt or the sweater.
I'll
and
tell you
everything.
what,
Look at-
guys. If
look
you're
at this.
still somehow listening to us,
Yes.
ramble on,
Please.
drop the comment bottle model right now.
That's right.
That's it.
Can I be a bottle model?
He's the bottle model right there.
Yeah. I want to be a bottle model.
Yeah.
Drop the comment bottle model if you want to see me in Parlor's next billboard ad.
There you go.
Bottle model.
Brilliant.
Drop the comment.
Drop the comment.
No one's going to leave that comment.
Ring the bell. Smash the like button.
And please subscribe to my goddamn podcast.
Yeah, subscribe.
That could be like the next thing that we do.
Turn the gray box red. Let's go.
That could be
That's
the
it.
thing.
Dude, you're like
I'm all over it. I got you.
man, you're like my biggest commercial
I've
right
done
now.
one or two of these. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. You practiced a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Had a couple root
For
beers
sure.
before you came
Yeah.
in, you know, like
You know.
you're on a roll here.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Whew.
Wow.
Anyway,
This has been a journey here.
it has. It has.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is fun. This was a lot of fun, guys. I mean,
This was really fun.
so two things that I have to come out of this. I need a little bit more root beer for my fridge.
Okay.
I got a couple here, but
Yeah.
maybe if you can send like just a couple more 2-3 bottles over.
We
We could do that.
And then
We got you.
And then I don't know how you guys probably can't help with this, but I just want to just say this out loud. Like you going back to the goat chain. I need a bigger goat chain.
You do need a
I
bigger
need a
goat
bigger
chain.
goat
Be
chain.
careful what you're
need a
asking
bigger
for
goat
right
chain.
now.
Why? Can you
Because
get me a bigger goat chain?
our partner
Josh
will probably
Josh,
walk in here with a literal chain
Josh.
with a literal
Josh
goat.
will get me a
Josh.
big. Oh yeah, I don't
Josh,
want a real goat.
bigger goat chain. Bigger
You mean
goat.
a real goat?
No, he's got the.
Oh,
he's got the.
it
pen-
wouldn't surprise me.
He's got the
Yeah.
pendant for
Yeah.
it. We just need like a longer chain so it could just
then
like
I-
slide over
Yeah,
somebody's
but then I
head
need a
and just,
bigger.
like-
I need a bigger goat then too.
I mean, you could do that.
We have
You could flavor it. Like you
I
could
think
just-
I think I might have to.
Josh.
I mean, you said it. You're the
Dude,
one I think
I'm
that
just-
originally said. It was your idea.
Look, so here's
Do what's
so
necessary.
I'm going to
yeah, Josh.
So I'm going to give you one of my many life mottos. When again, I think it applies to the goat chain, and it turns out I did some fact checking and I looked it up, and it turns out that more is in fact more. Yeah.
Is that what?
More
is that what it is?
Yeah, more is more.
Is that true?
People have told me my whole life that
John,
less
is it true?
that less is
true.
more, and then I looked it up, and less is not in fact more. More is more.
More is I think more is
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
So we need more goat. Kind of like we need more
And
cowbell.
also,
But we need
also, in my experience, anything that's worth doing is worth overdoing.
yeah. So you think I
So
should overdo the goat
Overdo
chain?
the goat.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think.
Josh.
I don't think we're trying to be
Yeah,
subtle.
and
here.
also overdo it
Let's not be
with
subtle.
your investment in Parlor.
Hey, that's a good
like
call.
that?
I like that. Was a good callback.
Yeah.
It's good. Don't overdo it though. Please don't make yourself like broke.
Yeah, don't
Trying
go
to
broke.
do-
but
don't go broke.
invest
you know.
responsibly. Don't take
Invest
anything I say.
responsibly, yeah.
I'm not a financial
For sure,
advisor.
yeah.
But,
Very important. Don't
like that-
sue. Don't sue me.
Don't sue any of us.
Don't-
There's a disclosure. None of us know. None of us know anything about what we're talking about.
Don't sue me. I didn't. John said a lot of words before. I don't know what any
Big
of those words
words.
mean, but I know that at
Great.
the end of the day,
Great. At the end of the day, they will sue me.
at
Great.
the end of the day, you will own a part of the company,
And then some.
and then you'll be a part of this whole thing, which is pretty cool.
Hit that like, subscribe,
Yeah.
hit comment. Do not
Yeah.
sue me.
Yeah.
Do not sue us right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
And drink more fucking root beer. Right?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
drink more root beer.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here.
We'll get
Here,
right
go ahead.
here.
Look here it is.
Guys, here's a bunch of texts talking about why Parlor Pumpkin Root Beer is the only one that should ever spook your soul.
There it is, people.
There you go.
Look at this.
Get yourself. That
Yeah.
that camera too.
Yeah, that one.
Get
Here we
you-
go.
Get you some.
Get spooked.
So-
Get spooked, people.
We talked a lot about all this stuff, so it's drinkparlor.com is
There it
what
is.
has brought this whole thing to you
All right,
today.
can we do that in tandem? You almost got
Yeah.
it. Ready?
drinkparlor.com.
Boom.
Good
There it
job. Good job. Plus, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at drinkparlor, and TikTok, I think.
And Facebook.
And Facebook and whatever it is. It's at drinkparlor. And even if if you're feeling fancy and you're like one of those one of those people who likes to use little GIFs in your stories and whatnot on there, you can even type drink parlor in the little
Ooh,
gift
you
finder,
guys got
and there's
gifts.
some little gifts
Ooh,
going on. Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna be gifting it up for
we're
sure.
fancy.
You guys are cool.
We're fans. It's cool. Yeah,
You guys are doing.
exactly.
Yeah, you
We're
guys.
trying.
Yeah.
We made root beer cool.
Again,
Case closed.
make root beer cool again. That's
Easy.
like a.
Take it easy. Take it easy. It get us in all kinds of trouble over here. Good
Yeah.
God. But
Jeez.
yeah, well, I mean, why not? Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it cool. Was it
Right.
cool? But was it cool though? Was it ever cool before? I don't know if it was ever cool before.
Root beer?
Yeah.
No.
Was it? No.
I don't think it was.
It is now, and now it is again too.
Again.
I'm not
Twice.
saying I told you so.
again.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, more is more.
Yeah, more is more. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yeah, and if you could
And,
subscribe twice to my show,
yeah.
please.
If you could, yeah, just subscribe a bunch, make up an email,
Yeah,
and subscribe.
yeah.
again. It doesn't cost nothing.
Create a couple
Yeah.
other Gmail accounts.
Doesn't cost. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. It's
Yeah.
fine. You
Yeah.
know, and then
Then I just have to have you,
Yeah.
stream from like a couple different,
yeah.
computers and a couple different.
Very important. Don't sue us.
Yeah, don't sue us. Don't sue us for anything that was said during this episode.
And then we didn't want to. I hate to say, can't say I told you so, but I'll say what I tell you.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, I'm tossing you guys out now.
Yeah,
I'm keeping the root beer though.
That's
so
fine.
That's fine.
Keeping the root beer.
It's fine. This has been an awful long time to not go to the bathroom.
Right. I think we
I'm
all
just
got to
saying.
go. Who gets to use it first? I don't know.
We'll race.
We'll have to do like rock,
We're gonna
paper,
race.
scissors.
It's
You're
fine.
closest to the door, so
Yeah, I am.
I think you're
Think
gonna
you win.
Plus, I'm just bigger.
Yeah.
Just gonna block the door.
You're
and then
definitely
just-
You're definitely gonna block us all in. Yeah,
But
so,
thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I really appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
All right, Aaron Bruch and John Phillips on the Stacks Podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me.
You got it anytime.
Thank you.